So Mordy, you grew up in the Middle East, more specifically in Israel.
Correct.
And spent how much your first 20 years?
23 years.
23 years there.
Yeah.
And from what I understood, what we have been talking before, is that you basically started out with rock and blues music and stuff like that, right? You didn't get into jazz until at a later stage.
Yeah, I actually played classical music for
Okay.
2 years,
Yeah.
and then very heavily into rock and roll,
Yeah.
playing in bands across the country, cover music,
Right.
Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple,
Right.
Hendrix, Santana,
So what tipped you over in the jazz?
It's like, I think I was just either at home or just walking somewhere, and I heard on the radio this guitar player, Django Reinhardt,
Oh, this is Django, okay.
and everything changed for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think if I would hear the real jazz, conventional jazz, I would really be interested. But he was so unique with this humor, technique, happy music, and soul, so much soul. It really took me by surprise, and I decided to really transcribe everything I can by him.
Right.
So
I think what you're saying there is a very important point, because jazz used to be happy music, and it turned into very angry music at some point. Yeah, and that was
Correct.
lost. I mean, if you listen to Django, if you listen to Charlie Parker,
it was great.
it's happy. It's very positive music. Yeah, so that's it.
And that's funny that I write music for films and TV, and I just did a tribute to Django, and it's funny, when I play it, I feel like, wow, this is really happy.
Yeah.
I really need to get back to this stuff a little, to the more happy days. But it was good transition from rock, to him.
Right.
It was just like, I didn't know what to call him, but it was just great.
So then at some point you decided that you had to go to America.
Actually, the way it started, I mean, first from 17 and then 18, 19 is Your Body, Mahavishnu Orchestra. Those people started to really influence me a lot. King Crimson, Gentle Giant. I got into that phase, and then I went to the army. And in Israel, you go to the army for 3 years. You cannot not go. And I was lucky to be in an army band after 2 months of training with guns, so I played. And when I finished the army, I became very known as a rock player in Israel, and did all performances and TV and big studio player. And then I got full scholarship to Berkeley, so that was a transition, like the first major transition.
Was the scholarship from Berkeley? Or?
Yeah, yes, because of the body of work I did in Israel.
Yeah.
I was surprised, I didn't expect anything, but when I came there, I got full scholarship, and that was, the big major transition in my life, or just some major event,
Right, and how long did you stay at Berkeley?
Actually, I stayed there for I came at 1982, and I stayed till 1990, because I was teaching there also, and I played. I had, my career actually started to flourish there. Yeah. I had a band with Miroslav Vitus and Bob Moses, and so things were going good there. I was practicing all day.
We should explain, because not everybody might know who Miroslav.
Oh, I mean, I was.
Miroslav Vitus is one of the legendary bass players. Was in the original Weather Report.
Yes.
And has done a lot of incredible music. And also Bob Moses was playing with Gary Burton's band.
And Pat Metheny, the first record with Jaco.
Yeah, Bright Side's Life.
Yeah.
And he also, very interesting about Bob is that he basically grew up in New York around the greatest jazz musicians. Charlie Mingus used to come and sit in and play piano with him in his bedroom when he was practicing drums.
Because
he was a kid.
His parents were giving these rooms to those people, so he was hanging with those guys. I just played with him. He told me all the stories.
Yeah, no, he's a very cool character.
So I want to say that I was lucky, by the way, so young and from Israel, and 3 years later in Boston, to have this kind of people near me.
Yeah.
Oh, I still think those are the greatest.
And did you actually graduate from Berkeley?
You know what? I never went to school really to sit in class, but I was there practicing all day, and the teachers were my friends. So I got kind of cool,
Because that seems, a lot of people who went to Berkeley, it seems to me, is they come there and they go for a year, and then they get involved and the whole social thing and play with people, but they actually have a great
I know. I think it was cool to be there. It's very good, and I met a lot of people through there, and So Boston was the place that made me what I am, because I practiced all day long, just didn't do anything else. As self-taught, I transcribed from records everybody. Herbie Hancock, Keith Jarrett, everybody. So
who were the more important people that you played with in your Boston time?
Well, there was all kinds. There was, of course, Moses, Bob Mintzer, Tiger Okoshi, Tommy Campbell, Baron Brown. There is such a big list. Aydin Essen, a great piano player from Istanbul, actually. I admire him. And Nana Vasconcelos, Miroslav Vitus. It's hard for me right now to kind of feeling... But great musicians that really, I was fortunate enough to play with them, and they played my music. That was even more what I was, because I started to write actually when I got to Boston. So, but then Boston became really a student town at the end of the day. So if you stay there, it's like I felt like I need to move. In 1990, I just went to New York. I didn't prepare myself for nothing. After teaching at Berkeley, I came to New York, and boom, I'm looking like it's a regular town, but I didn't know that New York is like you really need to prepare yourself before you move there, because people are not waiting for you or anything like that. So the first year I was like really just trying to understand what did I do and all that, and then from there just things got great. I was able to play at the Blue Note, Birdland, did my second album with Jack DeJohnette and Eddie Gomez and Dave Liebman and George Garçon, so that was a great thing. And I started to write music for TV and films, which is a great, because I love different kind of music, so I was able to do those things, and that worked really good. And of course, a major thing that I do for many years is education. Right. So I've been teaching at New York University for like 12 years, and the New School. Did a DVD for Mel Bay on jazz improv, and this year my composition book is coming out on Mel Bay also. So New York was good.
So what is it about teaching that inspires you?
You know what? I think that through teaching I learned myself. I started to teach when I was really young, when I had to learn so much myself, and I'm kind of learning through teaching. And I don't want it to sound kind of, I don't know how to say it, but I really truly like to share knowledge. Just to see the person in front of me, even like practicing with a person in front of me. I had really great students, and to share and to explore, to talk about the whole thing, just really makes me excited. It never been for the money. It's good teaching, but it's really beyond. It's just the idea of taking a band, doing an ensemble. I learned a lot from that, and I use my composition through that. So teaching will always be something I like to do, even in a small scale, but will be great.
And right now, where are you musically? What's the
present
and the future?
I'm long overdue with a record. The last record I did was with Michael Brecker and Peter Erskine and Willie. Mm-hmm. Michael is gone. So I'm long overdue. I'm looking forward to do a new record, musically. What I like about, by the way, if I can say about Warwick and FRAMUS, it's just the first of all, the family feeling that I get here. It's like a family. If it's the staff or it's the musicians, there is a great vibe going here. And what I like, which I spoke with Tim a lot, is about combining everybody together, not doing the jazz, the funk, the thing. We're all, and this is good for me because many people are surprised that when I go on stage now, I play, I didn't know you can play like, I just like the idea that I can explore more with these guys and people like you. You bring your thing, and so I'm thrilled, if I may say something about the company.
Cool, very cool. For me, But let's say something more about the guitars. How come you now coming aboard on FRAMUS?
We've been talking for years, and I have to admit that I wasn't able to commit, and I felt something is not right, and I should be careful what I do, because I've been approached by many companies, and I said yes, and they gave me guitars and all that, and I still play my guitar. But then after many years, I started to see, first of all, I see that the basses I know are going really great, and I checked the musicians and everybody, and I got to be friendly with Hans Peter, which I really respect him and admire him. And I do believe in this company. I think this company is great, and I felt like this time it's the right time. You know, maybe turning 50, maybe, I don't know, maybe made me more relaxed, less fanatic. And you know what? I feel like it's gonna be really good with the guitar. I really feel this year I'm looking forward for 2011, you know, hopefully with a signature model. I have a lot of good ideas in me because I don't understand so much about wood, or I just know what's good. And the guy who works on the guitars here, Marcus, which is a wonderful guy, he believes in what I tell him. So I feel good about it, and I truly can't wait. This is already like a very nice guitar that they just came up with in November. I saw it for the first time. It's like, you know what, you don't have to explain too much. You just take it and you say, oh, that feels good. You know, I don't know what it is, but it feels good. It's like meeting a girl, you know, it feels good. I want to explore it more, you know. So so I need to love the girl for whatever she is, but we can compromise and do some adjustments. That's what I'd like to do with that. But I feel good about things, you know. And the parties, I like the parties, man. That's why I have sunglasses, my eyes so red. Don't think that I need that, but I don't want my mother to see my eyes right now.
All right. Mordy, thanks a lot.
Pleasure, Jonas, and thank you for everything. You're great.